Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today we're going to be playing with some brand new makeup that I just recently added to my collection. And if you watched my most recent video about hidden gems, you'll probably notice that I promised I would be doing the look in that video, in this video, and I'm clearly not wearing the same makeup or the same clothes. So I essentially made the executive decision to refilm this entire makeup playtime video because I retested out one of the products that I'm going to be talking about, which is the new Flesh Foundation. It really went pretty terribly the first time I filmed this video, and I tried it with a different primer this morning and it worked so much better, and I honestly want to try to give you guys the best information possible and let you know like how this makeup actually works. So I thought, you know what, let me just refilm the whole thing, see if things turn out better this time, and they definitely did. So if you want to learn the products that I used and hear some of my initial thoughts on these guys, we're about to get into it. Alrighty, makeup playtime. Round 2. So the first new product that I'm going to be testing out today, and the product that prompted me refilming this entire video, is the new Pure Flesh Foundation from Flesh Beauty. So this guy retails for $32. It's a new foundation on the market. It's supposed to be silicone-free, alcohol-free. It doesn't have any synthetic fragrances in it, so it's supposed to be good for sensitive skin, and it's also supposed to work for all skin types. It's supposed to have medium coverage, a natural finish. It's supposed to be really long wearing and lightweight on the skin, and it definitely intrigued me, so I had to pick it up and try it out for you guys. I haven't heard any reviews on this. I haven't really heard any of the big YouTubers talk about it. Definitely let me know if you've seen any reviews. Tell me about them in the comments so I can check them out. But online on the Ulta website, the customer reviews of this were really quite positive. People were saying that it looked really beautiful on the skin, it felt really nice, so I definitely had high hopes. And honestly, I think the reason that I've had so many issues with this so far is that I have not been pairing it with the right base. I assumed because this was silicone free that I should be layering it over like another silicone free primer, so I've been using it with my Ren Perfect Canvas Skin Finishing Serum, and for whatever reason, every single time I pair those two things together, my skin looks so textured, it looks dry, it looks flaky. It's not a good situation. But then this morning, I paired this guy over my Coats sunscreen. So it's a very silicone based, like sunscreen hybrid kind of product, and it looked so beautiful. So I said to myself, you know what? Maybe I just need to use something a little bit more pore filling, a little bit more smoothing, so this will glide on better. So that's what we're going to be testing out for you guys on camera. So I have my Too Faced Primed and Peachy Cooling Matte Skin Perfecting Primer. So this is the first time I'm trying this duo out. We'll see how it goes. But I have high hopes because I feel like this primer definitely fills pores in, kind of smooths out texture. So I'm hoping that will give this Flesh Foundation like a better shot. So I'm going to be applying this guy today with a brush. I found that's my preferred way to apply it to actually get more coverage. I find with a sponge, it's just way too sheer. This is definitely a light to medium, not medium to full coverage foundation. So if you're looking for full coverage, this does not claim to be, and it's not. So I'll just start out with one pump on the back of my hand. It's also not as liquidy as I was expecting it to be for a water-based foundation. But as I said, it definitely does not go on full coverage. You really kind of have to work it into the skin. With a brush, I do feel like it has a tendency to leave some streak marks. So you just kind of have to like stipple it and really perfect it, which takes a little bit of time. But like I said, when I used this with my Coat sunscreen this morning, I thought it looked really, really nice. So hopefully we'll get the same effect now. Also, just as a little aside to you guys, the shade range on this foundation is pretty nice, actually. It spans from very light to very deep. There's a good gradient. But if you are trying to shade match yourself, I would highly suggest going in store and actually swatching the foundation on your skin, because I think the online shades are a little misleading. The little like pictures on the Ulta website look much darker than the foundation is in person. I am wearing the shade Butter number 14, which I think is pretty decent. Like, it's a pretty good match for me. Maybe like just a teeny bit light for me right now, but we are going into fall and winter, so I didn't want to err on the side of a shade that only matched me when I was tan. But yeah, I think if you just go based on the descriptions and based on what the little pictures look like, you're gonna end up getting a shade that's way too light for you. So go to the store and check it out. All right, so here is what one half of my face is looking like with the foundation on. I think it actually is looking really nice. Definitely looking much, much better today with this primer than with the Ren one. The coverage is not full, as I said. You know, you definitely can see some of my little imperfections peeking through, but I don't mind it because I feel like it looks like skin. The finish, again, it's not too matte, it's not too dewy, it's very natural looking. So I feel like this is going to be a foundation that a lot of people will like that don't want like a full coverage mask type look on their face. All right, so I'm going to take just a little bit more of the foundation. I definitely feel like this is a 2-pump foundation because the coverage is so light. So I'm just going to build this up on the other half of my face. All right, so I have one layer of the foundation on. Let me zoom you guys in so you can see a little bit better how it's looking close up. So honestly, I do feel like this foundation is looking pretty nice on my skin for something that has a lighter coverage. It doesn't look too heavy. I don't feel like it's enhancing the look of texture on my skin or looking particularly flaky. Like I said, it was doing that before. I feel like you can see it kind of settling again around my nose. I think once I apply concealer, that will correct that issue. But elsewhere on my face, I feel like it just evens my skin tone out a little bit without looking overly makeup-y. It doesn't feel too heavy. It feels pretty lightweight on my skin. So in general, I'm much happier with this today than yesterday. All right, so I'm just gonna throw on some concealer real quick. I'm gonna be using the Too Faced Born This Way Multi-Use Sculpting Concealer, and then I'll be right back because we do have a powder to test out together. All right, so concealer is on. I'm liking the way that things are looking. I think the concealer worked well with the foundation. It just gave me a little bit of extra coverage where I needed it in my under eye area and around my nose. So now I feel like my skin does look a lot more flawless without looking heavy, which is cool. All right, so let's move on to setting the face. I have a brand new powder from Juno & Co. This is actually their very first makeup product. It's their Juno Blur Makeup Setting Powder. This is supposed to be a brightening powder that's supposed to blur the look of pores and whatnot, perfect the look of skin. It doesn't claim to be a mattifying powder. Obviously, any powder is going to mattify the look of skin at least a little bit. But having used this now, a couple times before, I don't feel like it is an overly matte powder. I feel like it leaves your skin looking more satiny. So I think it will work for a lot of different skin types. Juno also sent me their brand new Juno Babe brushes along with the powder. These are super beautiful. They're a little bit more expensive than their regular brushes. Each of these guys retails, I think the eye brushes are like $7 to $10, and the face brushes are more like $10 to $12, but they're a lot more luxe looking than their brushes with the black handles. These have this really beautiful textured, like metallized blush detailing on them, and then like a pink blushed handle. It's tapered. You have this nice ombre kind of white and gray bristle situation going on. I think they just look absolutely stunning, and they are, I will say, very, very soft. I've enjoyed using these brushes a lot so far, so I'm excited to show you guys them in action. So I'm gonna take, I believe this is their domed powder brush, and I'm gonna pick up some of the powder. They have a nice little net in here, which I like, so it kind of controls the flow of the powder a little bit. And I'm just going to gently press this onto the skin to set everything down. So yeah, I feel like my face is lightly set. This powder is not too heavy. I also didn't go overboard applying it. You can definitely tell it took down some of the shine, but do you see what I mean? It's not like really flat and matte. It leaves a very natural looking finish on this skin, which, I mean, I'm very oily, so I don't usually mind things being a little bit matte. But if it's gonna stay this way, like, I'm cool with that. I feel like it definitely looks more natural. I do also feel like this darkened up my skin just a teeny tiny bit. I don't think that it's like not matching. Like, I think my foundation, my face, and my neck still look like a pretty good match. But just be aware, if you're already using a foundation that's a little dark for you, this might deepen it up just a teeny bit. It's supposed to be a translucent powder, but it's funny, it says it's supposed to be brightening, but I definitely don't feel like this lightened up the look of my face. If anything, I feel like it toned it down just a teeny bit while still making it look like skin-like and not too flat and matte. All right, cool. So I don't have anything new to use for my blush, bronzer, and highlight. I mean, these are still new-ish to my collection, but I'm pretty sure I've shown you guys them on camera before. I'm going to be using my Wander Beauty Trip for Two blush and bronzer duo because I'm kind of obsessed with this right now, along with my Jouer Molten Glow highlight. Like, this combination right here, cannot get enough of it. So as I mentioned before, these face brushes, I really love them. I think they're very soft. They blended out my makeup really beautifully. Very pleased with these. The only thing that they didn't include that kind of confuses me in this brush launch is a highlighting brush. Like, they have this tapered powder brush, but I feel like this is too big for highlight. It's perfect for, you know, blush. That's what I used it for today, but like, this is just way too much for highlight in my opinion. They did release this little contouring brush, which is not a highlighting brush. Like, it's a little bit dense for highlight in my opinion. I just thought this was kind of odd. Like, I'm surprised that they would launch this and not a highlighting brush, especially when you have an angled brush like this and a tapered brush like this. Like, these are perfect for blush, bronzer, contouring, etc. So I feel like this was not completely necessary. Like, a highlighting brush would have been nice. So I'm just going to use my Moda highlighting glow brush today instead. This highlight, oh, every time this highlight, it just gets me. All right, so let's move on to brows. I do have another new product to play with. This is the Urban Decay Brow Blade, which is not really new. In today's day and age of beauty, something that's like 2 weeks old stops being new. It's absolutely insane. But I'm pretty sure this product launched within the year, and I've been really curious to try it because it's supposed to like mimic the appearance of microbladed eyebrows, which I am way too chicken to actually do. So on one side of this, you have a regular twist up pencil. It's got like a waterproof formula, but then on the other side, you have this really precise brush tip pen that is supposed to have like an ink stain for your brows. And I absolutely love my iconic London eyebrow cushion, which is also like an ink stain type product, but that's obviously in a different format. So this little fine tip is supposed to allow you to draw on hair-like strokes that are supposed to stay put and last all day. And I really liked the concept of this guy. The only thing is it doesn't come with a spoolie, so you do need to like grab one out of your existing collection to groom your brows into place. But as someone with very thin, sparse, finicky eyebrows, like this just seemed very appealing to me, so I really wanted to try it. Now, I got the shade Dark Drapes, and I think it's a little bit dark and a little bit warm for me, but I was afraid of the shade Neutral Nana. Like, that was originally what I wanted to buy, but I read a lot of online reviews and they said it basically pulled green on a lot of people, which I didn't want green eyebrows. So I opted for this guy, but I don't know. If I do ever repurchase this in the future, I think I would probably opt for a different shade. Anyway, let me show you guys what it actually looks like. So I'm just going to start by grooming my brows into place, and then we'll just start doing some small, fine strokes. See, I think you can tell like right away, my natural brow hairs are a little more ashy than the color of this ink. Like, it definitely is pulling a lot more warm, so it just doesn't look particularly natural on me. It definitely helps if I blend it out a little bit. And the pencil side on this guy I find to be very pigmented and very creamy. Like, you barely need to press and you get a lot of pigment. So just be forewarned, if you're used to kind of going ham with your brow pencils, you don't need to do that with this at all. I mean, on one hand, it's nice because I feel like it's very fast, but then on the other hand, I feel like it's very easy to go overboard and to make your brows too intense. So I just feel like it's got a little bit of a learning curve. Yeah, I feel like I just went a little overboard. I'm gonna take a little bit of concealer on the back of my hand. Unfortunately, the Juno & Co brush set does have like a little flat concealer brush, so I'm just going to clean my brows up a little bit so they don't look quite so insane. So yeah, I don't feel like my brows look bad with this product by any means. It definitely filled them in nicely. It's just, I don't think the color is exactly right, and it is definitely something you need to practice using. It's not something you could just like pick up and use the first time and feel really proficient with, especially if you're used to using a slightly more waxy pencil. All right, let me just do my other brow real quick, and then I'll be right back. Okie dokie. So the thing I am most excited to play with today is this guy right here, which is the brand new Jackie Aina palette from Anastasia Beverly Hills. First of all, let's just take a moment for this packaging. I think it's so fun. I love the iridescent, like crocodile skin type situation we've got going on here. It's very Jackie, it's very fun, and the colors inside of this palette I feel like are perfect for summer transitioning into fall. We've got lots of warm neutral tones, some berries, pops of purple, this really gorgeous like duochromatic green shade called Sponsored. I've been wearing that shade a ton recently. So yeah, I was very excited to pick this guy up. I love Jackie. I've been watching her videos for a while, and I think she did a great job curating this palette. I think it's very her, and I think the tones in here, the quality of the shadows is definitely up to the normal ABH standards that you would expect with like modern renaissance and soft glam. So I'm pretty jazzed to play with this on camera for you guys and show you a look. Now I'm thinking I might actually do something different than I was planning today, because originally I was just going to try to recreate the look that I had filmed the first time I did this video, but I'm thinking I'm actually just going to edit that footage into like an Instagram tutorial or something like that, because I did really like the look a lot that I came up with, but like I also kind of want to play with some other shades because this palette is still pretty new to me and a lot of fun. So either way, I will try to still have some kind of tutorial footage for you guys so you can see how I made the pink and purple look I was wearing in my last video. But I think it would be kind of fun to just play around with some different shades today and like see what else I can come up with. Either way, I'm gonna start out with the same shade. I'm gonna use Ginger, which is the nice warm kind of, well, gingery brown that's in this palette. This is a really great transition shade, and I'm using the fluffy blending crease brush from the Juno & Co set. And as you guys can see, like this shadow blends out so beautifully. It's not patchy, like a little bit goes a long way. It just buffs and spreads out really nicely. Like, I dig it. And obviously with Jackie being a woman of color, she really wanted to make a palette that had very richly pigmented, non-ashy shades, and I think she did a great job with that, and I think this palette really will work on so many skin tones. Then I'm going to take the little angled blending brush in this set, and I'm going to go into the shade Edges, which is a more warmer rusty brown. Kind of reminds me of carrot cake for some reason. And I'm just going to focus that in the outer corner of my eye and kind of blend it up into the lower portion of my crease. Like, dang yo, the pigment is not playing around. Now I still have yet to use the shade Wigglese in here, which is a really bright metallic, like cranberry coral kind of shade. I feel like this ends up looking lighter and brighter in swatches than you think it would be based on how it looks in the pan. So I'm going to go in with this little smudge brush, and I'm going to start packing this on the lid, kind of from the outer corner. Ooh. These metallics, every single time I've used one of them with a dry brush, they pack on so beautifully. Like, I am not applying this wet at all. And just like, look at how intense that's going on. Now I think I want to take the shade Zam and put that all over the like middle to inner part of my lid. But this guy has a little bit of a different texture to it. It's quite a bit more sparkly than some of the other shadows, so I have a feeling that it's going to have more fallout. So I'm going to use a little flat concealer brush that's in the Juno & Co set, and I'm going to apply a little bit of my NYX glitter primer to my lid underneath this, because I think it'll just help it to kind of stay in place a little bit better. Oof. Wow. That is V shiny and very pretty. Well, okay then, now I'm gonna go back in with Wigglies, and I wanna blend those two shades together a little bit more. I feel like this color scheme, this entire palette gives me such fall vibes. Like, I'm not really ready. I'm not ready to say goodbye to summer, but I do love fall colors. I love those rich, rusty tones and purples and golds and greens, and I just think this is giving me all of that. Oh, Jackie, you definitely did something with these eyeshadows, because they are just stunning. All right, well, now that I got this really gorgeous shiny situation on my eyes, I need to like intensify the crease a little bit. I feel like I've lost kind of all the color there, so I'm gonna go back in with ginger first to deepen things up, and then a little more of edges in the outer corner here. All right, so now just for like a little bit of fun, I think I want to take the shade Bigwig, which is this matte purple, and I want to buff that on the lower lash line. Like, yeah, of course I could do ginger or edges kind of tied together with the reddy brown tones, but I just think a pop of color on the lower lash line is a lot of fun, and purple would definitely complement these shades so nicely. So I'm gonna use the little flat brush that's in here. Yeah, see, I feel like that's fun. I like that. And you know, I can take the little angled brush with a little bit of ginger and add that just to like smoke things out, and then we'll go back in and intensify the purple just a little bit more. Now, I'm gonna be straight with you guys. I have worn falsies every day for the last couple of days, and I'm pretty falsied out. Like, my eyelashes, they need a break from the glue, so I think I'm just gonna use mascara today. So I'm not gonna go crazy like doing a big wing, because usually if I go too ham with the eyeliner and I don't wear falsies, it looks really weird on me. So I'm just gonna go with some pencil liner today and throw on some mascara. On the bottom lash line, I'm gonna use my Dose of Colors eyeliner in the shade Crushed, which is a purple, and it will be perfect with the lower lash line situation we already have going on. And on the top, I'm just gonna use a little bit of my brown Persona eyeliner just to add a little more definition to the lash line. All right, guys, so here's the completed final look. While I was at it, I threw on a lip. I'm wearing the Becca Ultimate Love lipstick in the shade Dusk, which is just like a really, really pretty nude. I actually have been loving this lipstick a lot. So this is what we're working with. Here's a close-up look. The skin, the eyes, everything. I feel like it's all actually looking really pretty nice. I think maybe my blush bronzer situation could use like a little top off right now, especially now that I have my eyes done. I feel like they're looking a little bit washed out. So I'm just gonna go back in with a little of my Costa Bellini duo here and just amp that stitch up a little bit. But yeah, here's a close-up look at my skin. I feel like now that the foundation and the powder and everything has been sitting for a while, it looks really nice. I don't feel like my pores look that accentuated. My skin looks pretty smooth. The blush, bronzer, and highlight went on really nicely. Like, in general, I'm pretty pleased. I'm not looking matte, but I don't feel like I'm looking overly greasy. Like, I have a feeling I'm gonna need to blot in my nose area in like the next hour or so, but that kind of happens with most foundations, so I'm not gonna dock this guy too much for that. All right, guys, so let's do a recap of all of the new products that I tested out today. All right, so first up is the Flesh Beauty Pure Flesh Foundation. I honestly am so glad I was able to make this work for me, because I was worried. I was worried for a while there. I thought maybe I had wasted my money, or, well, I guess more correctly, my Ulta points, because this really did not look good paired with my Ren products, with the sunscreen or with the Perfect Canvas Skin Finishing Serum. My skin just looked textured, it looked flaky, it didn't really have any coverage, my blush, bronzer, and highlight didn't go on great over it. I was just, it was not a good situation. I was pretty bummed out. But this combo right here seems to be working out beautifully. I definitely feel like this foundation has a tendency to settle into pores especially, so using any kind of a silicone-based pore-filling primer really helps it out. But I think the finish of this is nice. I like the way that it feels on the skin. It is very true to the claims of being lightweight and of being natural. I think it really does make your skin look like skin. So if you're someone that doesn't have a lot to cover or doesn't like to wear very heavy makeup, you may be really, really into this foundation. Now we also have to consider that we paired this guy with the Juno & Co. Blur Powder, which I also do think is really nice. It's maybe not the best for very, very oily skin in that I don't think this is going to really, really mattify your complexion. But if that's not something that you're looking for, if you want your skin to just look a little bit more perfected, blurred, and still natural while also setting your makeup down, this is a pretty sweet option. So I'm definitely feeling so much better about this foundation. I mean, I'll have to keep you guys posted as far as the longevity. I feel like this has gotten shiny on me the last several times that I've worn it, but obviously I'm in the process of experimenting with different powders and different primers. When I wore this the other day with the Peach Mist setting spray, that definitely helped to control shine because it usually does. So I will ultimately give you guys an update on this guy once I've used it for an extended period of time and let you know like my absolute favorite things to pair it with. But the powder I feel like I definitely am going to need to test out with more foundations because up to this point I've only used it with the Flesh one, and since this is new, like I'd really like to see how this pairs with like my Laura Mercier foundation or some of my other like tried and true favorites. Then we have the Urban Decay Brow Blade, which I definitely don't hate. I don't think I wasted my money. I'm going to continue to keep using this, but I do feel like it's a little more intense than what I would wear for every day. This is not something I think I would reach for if I was wearing no makeup. Like my ColourPop Brow Boss pencil, I feel like makes my eyebrows look a little less intense. Like right now with the rest of my face on, and especially with a bolder eye, I think this ultimately ended up looking fine. So yeah, this is definitely something I am looking forward to playing with more, to mastering, because I think that once I really get the hang of it, it'll look really nice in my eyebrows, and I also would be really curious to try it in another shade. Finally, we have this baby right here, the new Jackie Aina palette. I absolutely love this. I am so glad that I picked it up. Now, I don't have a whole ton of ABH palettes in my collection. I only own Soft Glam. So this is only the second ABH palette that I'm picking up. So I don't really feel like I have to worry about duplicate shades. These are very different from Soft Glam. If you haven't seen Jen Loves Reviews video where she swatched this palette in comparison with all the other ABH palettes, I would highly recommend you check it out. The thing it's most similar to is Modern Renaissance. There was most shade overlap with the mattes, especially in there. But since I don't own that palette, like this, I felt like just made sense to me to pick up. Like I love the extra pops of color in here. And I love Jackie, so I was really happy to support her. Oh, and I almost forgot about these babies right here, the Juno & Co. brushes. I really like these a lot. I think they're very soft. They blend makeup out really beautifully. And I think the eye brushes especially are gonna be really nice for a lot of people because they are quite a bit more petite than their other brushes and then a lot of other brushes I've seen. So I think they're gonna work very, very well for people that have smaller eyes. I mean, I have a lot of lid space, which many of you guys have commented on before in the past. So I don't necessarily need tiny brushes, although they do definitely offer me the opportunity to be a little bit more precise and detailed with my work. But if you struggle with eye brushes because a lot of the ones in the market are just very big, you have hooded eyes, you don't have really much of a crease to blend in, and you feel like you're getting eyeshadow everywhere, these brushes may actually work out really, really nicely for you. But I, of course, would love to know what you guys think. If you've tried any of these products, do you like them? Did they work out for you? Were they a bust? Do you have any tips? Give us all the details in the comments down below. And if you enjoy these makeup playtime videos, I hope you will give this one a thumbs up. I really appreciate your support so much. And if you want to come hang out with me again in the future, I hope you will consider clicking that subscribe button before you go. So yeah, on that note, I'm gonna let you guys go, but I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will see you in my next video. Bye guys.